everyone. So today is Wednesday, and I had bought into Fran. It's a lot lower valued price stock. It's at $4 when I went to buy it, but for some reason, when I went to buy it right at $4, it had a quick spike up, and it got me at 4.13. And so as it stuck through here, tight closing right around $4, I was hoping I was just going to get a nice little spike in throughout the day, uh, being that it dropped 34%. And but I didn't get it. It actually, someone pulled the carpet from it, and it crashed the last 10 minutes of the day. I held on. After hours, it had some good little spikes. And then coming down in the opening, it jumped up and then still just dropped. I don't tend to like to have stop orders in. It's because I pay attention to it quite a bit, and I feel there's a lot of times where it drops to the exact price you have and then just shoots back up. And as long as I'm keeping close eye, I can stomach this loss. So it's not that hard. I've been in a lot worse situations. So closely following it today. This is a 5-minute chart. So we were getting these big blue volume spikes. So it's kind of keeping me into it. As you can see, it came down. I really wanted to sell it right now, right in this area. But then I got this massive blue spike here, and it started to really flatten out. But I was getting a lot more blue, a lot more buying. And it was staying really flat. So then it jumped up. It jumped up to about 357. Start going, and I'm still getting the odd like nice blue spikes, and then got a little bit of red. It came back down, but it's holding strong with these a lot more blue spikes, a lot more buying, and then it ran up towards the last 10 minutes, so it showed a lot positive. And that's the trick sometimes with the value investing, is that you're picking up these stocks when nobody really wants them anymore. The guidance in this went down. Sales decreased. They had a lot of little positive things they're trying to rebuild a little bit. E-commerce side to the company was going well. They remodeled a lot of stores, so I feel that could be the reason why the earnings wasn't as great, because they spent a lot more money in the upgrading. But anyways, I'm gonna hold this until Friday. Unless it does a spike on Thursday. So I wrote down for you guys just a few, not every reason, but some of the reason why I hold. So the large volume spikes, when I really wanted to sell it, I actually just took a step back and really analyzed the reason why I bought it. So I went back to my original criteria, and as that was happening, I started noticing these big volume spikes as I was looking at it close. So the large volume spikes of the buys, it kind of shows a support of a bottom. Fran, it has over 700 stores, approximately, maybe 600. When I wrote this, I was going off of memory. Throughout 47 states. They're opening 6 more stores. However, they are closing 3, but they're still opening more. So more stores are coming, which is very positive. So at least 3 more, taking away the 3 that are leaving, which is a good thing because they're not producing sales in the opening in new locations. As a current share repurchasing agreement, I wasn't able to see exactly if it was still here, but the company has been buying back their own shares. They've released that they have been buying back their own shares this year. So there is a repurchasing agreement. I didn't study enough to look how much shares, but they bought about 700,000 shares already this year. The sales slowed. It's still at a good rate though. So I believe last time this quarter it was about 6% higher. So I think the sales around, don't quote me on this, but 115 million in sales for the quarter, and now it's sitting at about 106 million for their sales, approximately, right around in those numbers. But it's only about an $8 million decrease, which is massive, but it wasn't blowing out. Like it was only about 6% decrease in sales. They do have more assets than liabilities, and especially with a closing company or any kind of industry that's selling products. The positive thing I got out of this is sometimes they do evaluate their merchandise, and they did note in their earnings report that they cleared out old inventory, all their clearance stuff. So that really shows that they're not, they don't have much of the old products that never sold. So the assets not calculating into that. They're still making profits, regardless. To say their earnings weren't in the negative. It was up one, but still, it was still in the positive. Wasn't great, but they're still making money. So dropping, like literally today is down at 353, was nearly 50% drop. I do not believe this company is doing that horrible to drop from 6 to 350. I believe that that's I don't think it shouldn't be able to go down any further. So I'm definitely gonna hold it. Only one short-term spike. I really only want to get, this is my area right here. As you can see, I want it right in here, and that's where my target price is to sell. Right there. So you can, it doesn't have much to go, really. If you look at it, right there is all I want. So it's really short term. If it hits that tomorrow, I'm gone. I'm gone out of this really quickly. I'll be watching it. And yeah, it's well undervalued. There's a lot of news coming out now saying how undervalued the stock is. And that's the thing about there's another example was BMA, a banking corporation. I had it in my stock picks, and by Wednesday it was down about 22-23%. By Friday it ran up 27%. It actually finished green for the week. Then reasons to sell, there's plenty, but I wrote down a couple massive drops. So these massive drops right here and right here, right here. Now those are great reasons to sell. So you don't get yourself into a bigger mess. Like if it ends up down here, it's like it's getting in that thing where you're just holding on to dead weight. Like, and I guess another reason to hold, I don't exactly have too many other companies that I'm really looking at that has a good probability of this of something like this to jump up. And another reason is to just take your loss and move on. I've been in these situations. I think EXTR was a bad one. It had a drop, but at the same day, I owned GoGo Air over the earnings that went up 15%. I sold GoGo Air, bought into EXTR as an example, and got it at its low and ended up finishing the week off as a positive. So a lot of times you can just take your loss kind of thing and move on within a couple days. And really, like, sometimes you just kind of comes down, and hopefully I only want it to get up around here, and I'm selling, and that's going to be a nice profit for me. So I got 2 more days to do it. Friday, no matter what, I'm getting rid of this. And emotions, when it was down at 53, like I filled the form up to sell it, and you know what? I just was like, nope. I'm gonna, same reason why I buy the stock. I do a quick look at my fundamentals of why I'm gonna buy it, and when I go to sell a stock, I always do the exact same thing. I go, why am I selling it? Is it just pure emotions, or is it pure facts? And when I went down and took a good look at it, I realized I was just going to sell it over emotions, and really it has ran up about 6% since the time I was going to sell it. So if I would have sold on emotions, which I have a lot in the past, I've learned from that, I would have lost about 4 to 6% on it by the end of the day. As you can see, these big volume spikes, there's massive, especially at the end of the day here. What is there? 2 lines of red of cells, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, nearly 6 that are way above the red, and then there's a bunch of, you can just see all the blue of buying, so that's big support. And even after hours, the stock ran up about 4.68, even though it is down about 1.5%. But anyways, that's why I'm holding it. I'll give you a little update tomorrow of how things have gone.